Hello and welcome to the FeckWrest Online Touring Car Championship. My name is Tom and I'm your commentator. We are here at Spa for round 3 and we are currently looking at Sam Parker, the current leader of the championship for Team Parker Racing in the Renault Megane. Let's have a little look at the entries in for this particular round. We've got the 2 Parker Racing Renaults, of course. We also have the 2 K-Tech Racing cars of Kieran Thomas and Tom Foster in the 2 Subaru WRXs. We have the 2 VW Scirocco's of Team 5 Promile of Nico Clausen and Sven Slebioda. But the biggest news is that there will be no Ford Mustangs entered in from Team Craig's. Unfortunately, neither of them were available to race today, which will hurt them in the points, especially Craig Kellett, which will put him out of contention in the overall Drivers' Championship. I imagine he's gutted, but maybe we'll see him back next season fighting for another Drivers' title. In the independents then, we start off with Callum Baker. It's his 3rd round. So good to see some consistency from Callum to get some more points. He is currently doing well in the independents, fighting Josh Hardy for that title. Mike Kuipers, this will be his 2nd round in the Ford Mustang. Missed the 1st round unfortunately, but he's here for Spa and we've been told he'll be able to make it for Brands as well at the final. Maybe he could potentially be a dark outsider for the championship independence title. A new entry in another Subaru WRX is Ranksman aka Gary Black in this dark grey and orange Subaru WRX, sponsored by Storm of Leicester. And another new entry we have of Mark Nicol in another Renault Megane, and of course, as you can see, Mark has been backed by the very famous Gulf oil company, so he will be in a very recognisable blue and orange Gulf livery. Shane McMahon in the BMW M4 is in for his 2nd round. So again, Shane looking to gain some more points after missing out the 1st round. Qualifying went ahead then, and let's have a little look at the grid to see where everybody placed. It's Tom Foster on row 1 then with K-Tech Racing Subaru WRX for the 1st time. Next to him we've got Gary Black, a really promising show for his debut in the WRX there as well. On row 2 we've got the 2nd K-Tech Racing Subaru WRXs of Kieran Thomas. We've got Mark Nicol in the Renault Megane, also a promising show for his debut. On row 3 we've got the 2 Parker Racing Renault Meganes of Sam and Darren Parker. On row 4 we've got Nico Clausen in the VW Scirocco and Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane. On row 5 we've got Mike Kuipers in the Ford Mustang and Shane McMahon in the BMW M4, and on the back row of the grid we've got Sven Slebioda in the Team 5 Promile VW Scirocco, and we've got Callum Baker in the Subaru WRX. So here we go then, round 3 at Spa. Tom is on the front row of the grid on pole position for the 1st time, and away they go. A good start for the Subarus as always, and a poor start for Josh Hardy. In actual fact, he's stalled on the start line. Well, we don't know what that. And also Mark Nicol's gone off. That's a bad start for Mark. We'll have to have a little look at the replay to see what's going on here. Find out what's going on with Josh, and then also we'll have a little look at Mark. So let's have a little look at the replay then, as he gets away from the start line here, and see what happens. Oh, Callum gets a fantastic start. Look at that, all the way up into 6th, just behind Darren. Outbrakes himself, pushes Darren into Mark, and Mark gets spun round. Yeah, so as we saw there, Josh unfortunately had disconnectivity issues, so he won't be making it for the rest of the race. And Mark unfortunately got hit by one of the Parker Racing Renaults, which was unfortunately not his fault, and it was Callum Baker who ultimately was at fault for that, outbraked himself. So I imagine the race stewards will look at it and will give Callum a penalty, almost no doubt, out of that. So as we look on at the front row of the grid here, we've got Tom Foster leading the pack with Kieran in the Subaru. They're on board now with Gary Black, who is pushing for the lead already, which is great for his debut. We were pretty much stunned to see Gary on the front row of the grid next to Tom for his first race. So can he take a win on his first showing as well? This is a fantastic battle. 3 Subarus, 2 of them are very similarly set up, and 1 I imagine very, very different. Now Gary's having a go at Kieran, and he's actually got beside him. This is a good opportunity. It is actually on the right side for the next corner. Kieran's gone wide and has actually allowed Gary to get ahead, and he's now going to push to see if he can overtake Tom. See if Kieran can catch up and get that position back again. So 4th we've got Darren Parker and we've got Sam Parker not too far behind. The 2 boys have elected to go for harder tyres on the qualifying and their first initial race, get them out the way. Quite a tactic that some people have been going with once they realised how difficult the hard tyres were to maintain. Down in 6th we've got Shane. 7th and 8th we're having a battle between Mike Kuipers and Mark, and Mike's just gone off, lost control a little bit, so it's allowed Mark to get ahead. One thing we did forget to mention was the lack of appearance from Rob Pellet and Dalby Thin in the independents. So unfortunately, due to other commitments, that's Shane, sorry to interrupt there, Shane's gone off, so that's allowed Mark to go past and gain another position, and that's Mike almost going off as well. It's allowed Callum to catch up, and Callum has actually got one of the VWs on the back of him. I think he's actually going to get past him. And yes, he does. So that's Slebby, and Slebby's got past Callum to go into 9th, I believe. Indeed it is. There's Shane and there's Mark having a battle. So further up then, 2 Parker Racing boys are definitely not going to be battling out between them too hard. They're going to be working together for team points and to help each other get up into those better scoring positions, especially on the hard tyres. Stay out of trouble and see what they can do from here. So Kieran still a little bit behind Gary here and is currently unable to do much about it. This is fantastic from Gary. who was gutted to not be able to enter into Red Bull. Last minute he was ready to go, had entered in for the race, but his internet just didn't allow him to join, and so he had to leave it for another week, and he's now pushing Tom for the lead of the race, although Tom's got a bit of a gap, so he's not under too much pressure yet, but Tom can't make any mistakes. Now this is obviously, it was Tom's first pole position. He's already had a win back in Red Bull. That was his first win of the season. So if he takes this, this will be his second win. And oh, that's Gary. Gary's made a big mistake, so that's allowed Kieran to catch back up again. Now this is a great opportunity for Kieran. Can he take him on the inside? I think he's going for it. Yes, he does. Oh, but I think, yeah, no. Gary's going to get the undercut and the switchback. So Gary is back into second again after that mistake. I think he's got away with it, and he's very lucky. Down into Eau Rouge they go. Let's spread out a little bit this race. But it's a fantastic battle between these two. I think Kieran's got the slipstream, so he may want to attack again. He's not letting Gary get away with it. But all the time we're seeing these two battle, Tom is actually getting ahead and a lot further away, and is building a big gap, as you can see. Let's have a look further down. Mark is still doing well then to catch these two Parker Racing Renaults, and if he continues to go at this pace, he will potentially pass them. Let's see where they are on his... Yeah, look, there they are. They're not too far away, but he's got to be careful because Shane isn't too far behind either. And so if Mark pushes too hard and he makes any mistakes, Shane's there to counteract and gain that fifth position back off of him. Sixth, sorry. Yep, sixth position. So as you can see, it's one of the VWs struggling a little here at Spa, but it's not the worst result. They continue. I think they're lacking in a bit of pure pace for straight line speed. There's Callum, who's having a fight with Nico. And Nico's off the track, but he gets away with that. Let's follow Callum. I think Callum might have elected to go with the hard tyres in this first race. Really struggling around here. There's an interesting technique there from Nico, swerving maybe to put off Callum. Or is he warming the tyres up? Maybe he just can't get the heat into the tyres. There's Mike, who, to be honest, we're normally seeing a lot further up the grid. So it could be not a good track for him, or it could be that he's on the hard tyres. So there's Tom in the lead then. He's pretty much on his own. Whilst we have Gary and Kieran still battling out. We'll have a little watch of this then, whilst this rages on. There's Kieran pushing maybe a little bit too hard there as he's gone over the curb. It's actually hurt me a little bit. Both of them really pushing it to the max. Almost inch perfect from Kieran and Gary as they go around, and neither of them want to let any seconds pass and allow either of them to attack. Let's check further back. We've still got the two Renaults, and in actual fact here's Mark. So Mark has really caught up now to Sam and Darren, and this is promising for Mark. I mean, if he could get past both of these who are on the hard tyres, it could be a really well deserved fourth position, which will boost him up the table with Gary after just one race. And as we saw earlier in the race, there was Josh who literally got nowhere from right the word go, didn't even get to start the race and disconnected. So that's really going to hurt him in the independence points. Everyone else can gain some small amounts or big amounts depending on their finish positions, but at least any points count, whilst Josh scores none. So if he's not careful, he could start losing that lead. Let's look back up into the Subarus then. This is Kieran and Gary again. Gary's still ahead of Kieran, with Tom ahead, and as I said, all the time that these two are battling, it's allowing Tom to gain even more of a gap, although Tom's not really going off into the distance. It's a comfortable lead. Kieran's going for it again, and he seems to be very quick around these chicanes, and that's Gary going wide. He's gone very wide, so that's allowed Kieran to go up on the outside, not on the correct side this time, Kieran, for his attack, but he's trying to go on the outside, and he's not done too bad, and he's still side by side with Gary then. Gary's just got ahead, so let's watch with Kieran, see what he does with Gary, and Gary's a little bit unsettled. Kieran's got the pace, but he just can't get past as Gary defends really well. But Kieran's got the slipstream. Gary's on the outside, on the inside, sorry. But still yet no pass. Further down, there's Mark, and you can really start to see the colour of those two Renaults now. So this could be a great battle coming up between these three. Obviously you've got the two Parker Racing Renaults will ideally help each other to defend those positions, to not allow Mark to get past. Here comes Mark, he's got an opportunity. Oh, he's really pushing. We've got two battles on our hands now then. Here's Kieran and Gary still going at it. And Gary's still ahead of Kieran. And Kieran is really struggling to get past him comfortably. And he's doing well to catch up to him at this point. You can see how much quicker Kieran is as he comes around this chicane. And Gary's made two mistakes so far and gone wide. Oh, there's a bit of a bump. But maybe a friendly bump, and I think Kieran's decided to hold back. Felt that it was a bit too much there. As they go into the first chicane. Hairpin, sorry, not chicane. And they go down to Eau Rouge. Here comes Gary. But Kieran's got the run. There's Kieran in the back. Is he going to get past? I think he will. Yes, he does. Kieran's got the advantage then, but he goes wide again. Oh, this is fantastic stuff. I think Kieran's got it. Yes, he has. Further down then. And this is Mark. Potentially on one of the Parker Renaults. Struggling on them hard tyres. Mark is on them like a rash now. Oh. Oh, it's gone wide. Well, I think that might be. That's it, yep. Mark has done one of them. And that's Sam. So Sam, our current leader in the championship, has lost a position to Mark. So that's less points, where Tom is looking to get maximum points for the first position. So although this is a hard tyre race for Sam and Darren, it's still another points, another amount of points lost to Mark. Mark can now push to try and overtake Darren. So, whoa, bit of lag there then. Lots of lag going on. I think that settled itself out. That was unusual. Yeah, Gary had a lot of lag. But Kieran is now comfortably ahead of Gary, and I wonder if he could. I think Gary's got. I think he's got a penalty there, so it's allowing Kieran to really build up that gap now. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up with Tom to try and overtake, even though they are in the same team. Kieran will no doubt want to win because he hasn't had one yet. Here's Tom then. Let's see the gap between Tom and Kieran. Yeah, it's quite a bit. Well, Gary goes quite wide there. Mark has dropped back behind Sam, so I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe Mark had a little bit of a mistake. We'll have a look to see if we can find any evidence of what happened with Mark. But he's definitely lost position to Sam there. I think we've had I think we found a replay of what happened to Mark. So let's have a little look at it. As he goes down into Eau Rouge. He gets a good build up of speed. Side by side with Darren. Makes a great attack on him. But he's on the outside into the corner. Goes wide and then he spins out and goes into the tyre barrier and loses another position to Sam. Tom gets the win then as Kieran comes in second position with Ranksman, which is Gary Black, coming in third. Yeah, so unfortunately Mark lost the position himself, but I'm sure he will try and gain that back again. Oh, a bit of a push. It's a good effort by Mark, but unfortunately I think he's going to have to settle for sixth behind Darren, who is behind Sam. So Tom takes the win then. Kieran comes second with Gary in third, Sam fourth, Darren is fifth with Mark sixth, Shane seventh, Sven is eighth, Nico is ninth, Mike takes 10th, Callum is 11th, and unfortunately Josh doesn't finish.